Hey friends, so good to see you today. It is spring, things are happening. I'm excited. I always am. So today is Friday, and I'm going to be doing a series because I always have to name everything something super fun, and it's going to be Fun Food Fridays. And this is part of the Label to Table collaboration that I'm participating in. So Linda over at Tulilu Creates is hosting this fantastic collaboration where there are 5 of us ladies who are going to be bringing you a new delicious recipe from the label or the backs of your food products. Now, the packages you buy in this time, in now's day and age, doesn't have as many recipes as in years back. Not saying there isn't any, there are plenty out there. I trust you that will tell me all about the recipes that you're finding still currently. I get it, they're there, but they're not quite as readily available as in yesteryear. So my friend Renee over at Pike Creek Farm introduced me to this book, the Side and Back Panel Cookbook. I will try to post a link for you, but I have a feeling that my other friend Linda over at Linda's Pantry may have bought the last one because both of those ladies are also in this collaboration. We've got the 2 Lindas, we've got myself, we've got Prepper Potpourri, and we've got Renee over at Pike Creek Farm. So this is going to be a bunch of really fun ladies bringing you a new recipe every single day during the week for the month of May. All right, so Fun Food Fridays for Label to Table. Now, if you want to know if this is one of the ones that's part of the collaboration, there is going to be a logo, but I want to let you know this is all just for fun. No prizes or anything involved with it, just a bunch of us having fun in the kitchen. So in this book, you may see it a lot this month. There is on page 5, we're going to make what they consider an appetizer. And we are going to make the Dole, so think of pineapple, Dole pineapple Piroshkis. And I've never had these before, but I have heard many of my friends talk about them. So that is what we're going to do today. Needless to say, the rules are you don't have to use specific brands or anything like that. It's just recipes that have been found on boxes or bags or labels or that kind of thing. So you've seen enough of my face. How about we get my hands to working, because my family's going to be hungry, because this, even though it says it's an appetizer, is going to be our supper tonight. So let's get busy in the kitchen. Okay, I'll get my bowl here, and we need a 1/2 pound of, they call it for ground chuck. I am just going to use, this is my homegrown beef. And so I'm going to this is a 1 pound package. I'm going to estimate this, and we're going to put 1/2 of it in here. And then I'll save this other 1/2 for another recipe. If you want, you can easily double it. And then they want 2/3 of a cup of minced onion. I have a feeling this will probably be the whole cup. And rather than me actually mincing it with the knife, which you can do easy enough, I have this fancy gadget here, and it's just a food, like a non-electric food processor is basically what it is. And it's a food chopper. Call it what you want. Remember, we always save our bits and pieces because we're all about using everything we have around here. And this will be saved for the next time I make a broth or stock. But I'll just peel that outer layer off that I don't want to eat. And we're going to put this onion in here, and we'll just choppy. Oops, I didn't get it lined up just right. There we go. This is a Pampered Chef gadget, if you're wondering. Now, this is a pretty good dice, but I'm going to go ahead and shake it once or twice, and we'll go ahead and dice it just a little bit more, just to make sure. There we go. That looks really good. One more time. And look, I didn't have to cry. Take out our little blade, and I need 2/3 of a cup. This is a 1/3 cup, so we'll do this twice. 1 and 2. And then you're thinking, oh, why didn't you just start with a half an onion? Because I knew that if I had extra, it wasn't going to be a big deal. Now I have this food prepped for another meal. We love making omelets and egg scrambles and things like that. So having diced onion on hand is never a bad thing. Gosh, we use onion in, well, a lot of our recipes. And then we need, I believe it's a half a cup. Yes. 1/2 a cup of diced mushroom. Now I've already washed these. They're kind of getting to be the latter part of their life. They're not looking so good. I'll be honest, and I'll say it. And same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and dice this up finely. All right. That looks great. And you guys should be so proud of me for actually measuring, because that is not in my nature to do that. You know, I'm always like, oh, good enough. Well, I'm going to try my best to stick to the recipe. So in goes that. And this can be saved for those omelets. It says the first 8 ingredients. So we are 1, 2, 3 ingredients in. Number 4 is 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. It doesn't say it needs to be fresh, so we're going to use the canned stuff today, or the bottled stuff, because I am a canner and I always have bottled lemon juice on hand. 2 tablespoons. And then the next one's kind of interesting. 1 1/4 teaspoon. So I'm going to say a heavy-handed teaspoon of mint flakes. Mint flakes. So that would be dried mint. And this is mint that I freeze dried from last year. And oh, wow, it smells just like I just picked it. So I'm going to crush that in here. And actually this one, I think I really did do pretty darn good. There's 1, and I guess I could crunch maybe 1 or 2 more leaves up. And there's my 4th. Okay. Oh, that smells so good. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we need some salt. Says a teaspoon. This I'm actually not going to measure because I'm going to go ahead and do this fresh. So we're just going to kind of guess on this. And then pepper, they want you to use 1/4 of a teaspoon. Again, I'm just going to guess on this. And there's number 8. I'm going to just get in here, and I'm going to use my hands. I was going to get my spatula, but honestly, like a meatloaf, I like to mix it with just my hands. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with this filling. Whew. You know, for only having a 1/2 pound, because I'm so used to using a pound of meat with all of my recipes, that ended up being quite a bit more than I thought it would. So what an interesting filling this is. I'm going to put this off to the side. And I'm going to go wash my hands real quick. Oh, no. Guys, good thing I read the directions. I forgot. We're supposed to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm sure that would give a very unique flavor that I would miss. So let's add that. I'm going to use the spatula and mix that in. Cinnamon is one of those sneaky little seasonings that sometimes we don't think to use, but really amplify the flavor. Like I've been known to put it in like my chicken salad sandwiches and my chili, all kinds of things. So the next thing I want to do is put just a little bit of flour down on my clean countertop. I just want a dusting. That got a little too much. So we'll have a pile here if we need it. And then we're going to open up our can of biscuits. Now, are you one of those people that jumps every time the biscuit can gets opened? I don't typically get nervous about it, but I sometimes jump. Now, this says it makes 20 Piroshkis. But, see, these are the big biscuits, not the jumbo biscuits, not the, the smaller biscuits. You get 10. So, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 8. So when I cut these in half, we're only going to get 16. So our pierogies are going to be a little bit on the bigger side today, but that's okay. So we'll cut these in half. And then they want you to roll these in a ball. Okay. So we'll do that. Now I'm going to go ahead at this point, after I get these balls all rolled, I'm going to turn on the oven to 400 degrees so it can start preheating. All right, so now we're going to take these, and they want me to do a 3-inch circle, but I'm thinking because it is the bigger biscuit, we'll go like 4 inches maybe, which is usually the width of your hand. Because I'm afraid if I did like a 3-inch circle, then the dough would be too thick and it might not cook properly. All right, and then, so we'll take 1/16 of this filling. So I'm going to just pat it down. This is how I do this. This is how I try to divide things up. Honestly, 16 is going to be a little easier to do than 20. So if this is 1/4, then we divide the 4 into 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. And we put our filling in there. And then they say, oh, it says to put a tablespoon of the meat mixture in there. Well, so we're putting a little extra. That's okay. And then we want to moisten the edges. So I have a little water. I'm going to dab my finger. Remember, we keep clean hands in our kitchen. And then we fold it over into a crescent shape, I believe it said. Pinch together over filling, shaping into half moons. Arrange on an ungreased baking sheet. So I am going to do it like this and just kind of pinch it. I'm going to flatten that down. And to me, a moon has a shape like this. So to me, this is more like what we need. I've got some stoneware, and I'll put it on there. I did want to show you these things. I don't think they're quite the size I want, but here is like a hand pie and a pierogi maker. So you can use that if you want to, but for me, I think today I am just going to stick with doing it by hand. I don't think it's going to take any time at all. Another little trick to keep it in a circle is to pull and turn. These are handy. This is old. This thing must be, I bet it's getting close to 25 years old. It probably is. I don't remember. It might have been I know it's at least 20 years old. You can buy plastic ones, I think, from Pampered Chef still. This is the oldie one. Anyway, if you turn and spread, turn your dough while you're spreading and pushing with your roller, that will help keep the circular shape. And I'm just going to continue doing this. I'll just do them one by one. Normally, I would tell you go ahead and roll them all out if you want, but I've noticed that the dough wants to kind of shrink back, and I don't think you'll be very happy having to re-roll it. So see how it wants to shrink back? So I'll take the next bit of meat here. This is just what's going to help kind of seal it. I think if you wanted, you could do like with a pie crust, you would actually take and you can use a fork. I'm just using my thumb. I kind of like the design of the thumb. And if you're worried about it, you can roll it up and then push it down. I've done that for like calzones before. And it said a half moon, so kind of give it that crescent look. And I tore it a little, but that's okay. And then just continue till done. So I got all the piroshkis made, and then they want you to take a tablespoon of butter and melt it. So I'll go pop that in the microwave for, 30 seconds. So our butter is melted, and what we do next is we're just going to coat the tops of our piroshki with butter. I'm being very generous. I may have to come back and steal some butter off there. I figure we've already melted it. We might as well use it, right? It's only going to make it taste better. Butter makes everything better. Looky here, looky here. Just had enough. They're all nice and golden looking. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, once the oven is preheated, I accidentally did not turn it on. I thought I did and I didn't. So once the oven's preheated, I'll put these in at the 400 degrees for just 10 minutes, and then we'll be back for a taste test because you want to know what I think of this. Well, guys, somehow I messed up the audio, but at the 10-minute mark, I pulled them out of the oven, and I just wasn't sure that they were quite ready, so I decided to go ahead and put them back in. I think I did for like maybe 3 more minutes, and then when they came back out, I thought they looked a little bit better. They kind of had a little golden tint to them, and I was really, really excited to try them. So I'll cut them open, and I will show you what the inside looks like. And then I'm going to give a little taste test. And, you know, I wasn't quite sure what to think of it. In a little bit, I'll tell you what my family thought of it. But I wanted to tell you thank you so much for being here today. And don't forget to go check out the playlist and all the other amazing content creators to see what other delicious treats everyone comes up with all month long. And I will see you back next Friday for our next video in this series. Okay, quick little update. My husband said they were okay. He didn't ask if it wasn't like he raved on and on about it. And I asked my daughter, and she said she didn't like the mint. And you know what? I don't know. I almost think it needs a dip if I'm going to eat it with the mint.